Welcome to the Madhouse. We are here playing Path of Exile 2, the early access beta, and this is after point 0.1.0e or something like that patch, where they took out our farming spots. Now we all know that the Dreadnaught is a good spot at the end of Act 2 to farm, but here's the thing. You can clear out these couple of platforms right here by this checkpoint and restart at the checkpoint. Now, there should not be any reason that the devs are going to even want to patch this out other than being greedy and wanting us to spend money after spending a bunch of time in the game in their microtransaction store. So you can clear out this area here. And as I said, it's not a guaranteed elite in this area, like the other areas. Well, I don't understand about them patching out that elite, those farm spots. Why is it every other elite in the game we're capable of devouring, except for those ones? Now I feel that those areas were intended to be farmed the way they were until they fixed the loot drops. The loot drops are too high, the resources were too high, and it became problematic. So it's the only reason I can think of why they would take the ability to devour the bodies of the elites in these spots when we can devour every other one. Now we return to checkpoint, it'll refresh all the spawns. There is a higher chance of elites spawning each time, but just because of the area. But the thing is, the good thing is not having to start from the beginning of the Dreadnaught to get to this point. Now, don't mind me and my awkwardness with this build. It's something that I'm working on. It's utilizing Unleash, the 2 charges of Unleash on Frostbolt and Cold Snap. And it is a little awkward at times to get Cold Snap to trigger. I'm working on this build. I'm thinking put deceleration to slow down the frost bolts, and arcane tempo on Cold Snap to speed it up. Because as you can see, sometimes I'm missing the frost bolts because the time it takes to cast and then switch to the other spell. I was not paying attention. But yeah, you can rinse and repeat. I've had yellows spawn back to back over here, and it's just a good spot in general. We all know that the Dreadnaught is a good spot to farm, but you can get some elites here, and it's not like, I guess, exploitable. I really don't know why Grinding Gear Games decided to make it so that you cannot devour those particular bosses, or those, they're not even bosses, they're elites, and every other elite in the game, they can, when all they had to do was reduce the drop rate of those elites instead of completely making it an unfarmable spot, because by all means they are only elites and every other elite in the game can be devoured. Why can they not be devoured? I have a theory where it became too easy because of the fact that they increased the currency drops, the loot drops for yellows on bosses, and that it became a problem because the people were getting too much out of them. For one, it makes no sense why we cannot devour the corpse of those elites when I can devour every other corpse of elites in the game. Other than they want you to suffer through spending all the time to grind and grind and grind and hoping in your moments of frustration of grinding so much, you sit and spend time in their microtransaction store spending real money. Again, this is a massive red flag for me, but here's another alternative, and it's not exploiting anything. It wasn't even an exploit. The devs absolutely meant for those to be farming spots, but because of the changes that they did to the loot drop rates, they decided to shut it down altogether. And instead of taking accountability for, oh yeah, we messed up, and just reduce the drop rates of everything from those enemies, no, we're going to make it so that those are the only elites that you cannot devour in the game, but yet you can devour every other one.